Previously, we tried to game on this 18-year-old PC, but unfortunately, things didn't really go as planned. We had to remove the discrete GPU and basically let the iGPU take the wheel. Which, let me tell you, was an adventure, but I just couldn't leave it like that. Every gaming PC deserves its own GPU, so it's only fair to give this one a proper upgrade and let it prove its worth once again with a proper discrete GPU. And I know GT 710 is not the fastest card by any means, but in an 18-year-old PC such as this, it should be a quite reasonable upgrade. Mind you, the power supply that we have here is pretty darn weak, so even if I had something a bit more powerful, I honestly wouldn't really pair it with this weak of a PSU. But anyhow, let's just put this GPU in the PC, install the drivers that it needs, and get ready to game on it once again. Oh, and by the way, this time we'll be capturing the screen with an actual capture card, cause thankfully this GPU already has an HDMI port and it is able to send the signal through the capture card like any modern GPU. So without any further ado, let's head over to the benchmarks and see what this PC can do. Minecraft, a game that we weren't even able to launch before, but hopefully GT 710 can turn things around. I'm gonna go with the latest version of the game, by the way, and yeah, let's see if we can play Minecraft.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
Oh? I actually cannot tell if it's about to crash or if it's still attempting to launch the game. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds cause I really want this to work. Actually, let me just open the task manager. I wanna see if it's... Oh? Is it gonna do it? Come on, I really need this to... Oh wait, it's actually doing it! Hey, wait. Why is the bar going back? No, come on, you can do it! Come on! Hey, we actually did it! Alright, so... I'm actually gonna tweak some settings here because we don't wanna play on the highest settings. I feel like it'll be too much for this PC. But I don't wanna play on the lowest settings either. So give me a few minutes, I'm gonna set this all up and come back to you guys once everything's ready. Okay, so these are the settings that I chose to go with. And now, all that is left for us to do is to create a new world and see what the performance is like.
A few moments later.
This took a few minutes. In fact, I feel like it wants to take a few more just to load everything up. But hey, we're actually playing Minecraft.
Eventually.
So I decided to wait a few more minutes for everything to finish loading. And check it out. We're getting like 80ish FPS on fancy settings. But as you can probably see, the game is stuttering real hard. Now, once everything eventually gets fully loaded, the stress on the CPU will lower even further. But for now, we just have to deal with all this stutter and pretty much hope that it gets better in the next few minutes.
5 minutes later.
It seems that the more I play the game, the more stable it gets, which is kinda what I expected would happen. But yeah, I would say that the game is actually quite playable right now. Terraria, a game that was reasonably playable on the iGPU at 720p resolution. This time though, we're gonna go with 1080p right away, cause let's be honest, GT 710 is quite a bit better than an 18-year-old iGPU. Or at least I hope it is, so yeah, I'm gonna keep the rest of the settings the exact same. And yeah, let's go.
10 seconds later.
Wow, the difference is actually so huge. I'm not sure how noticeable it is through the video, but the game is so much more responsive and looks so much better on the GT 710, it's just unreal. I would honestly play this game daily if this was the performance that I had to deal with. And sure, I still see a few stutters every once in a while, but realistically, this is already so much better than before that I can just straight up say that you can most definitely play Terraria at 1080p resolution on this PC. Bloons TD 6, a game where we barely achieved 5 FPS on the iGPU. And just from the loading screen alone, I can already say that it's gonna be so much better than what it was before. Plus, it's not taking nearly as much time for it to load us into the game. So yeah, my hopes are pretty high right now.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is already like night and day. By the way, we can actually change the resolution now. Not that we're gonna need to do that, but still, we couldn't even do that when we were gaming on the iGPU. But yeah, let me just load into an actual game and see what the performance is like.
A few moments later.
Yeah, just look at this, guys. We are actually getting the full 60 FPS in Bloons TD 6. A really amazing performance if I do say so myself. But I wonder if it's gonna stay like that in Half-Life 2. Cause previously, we barely got like 3 FPS on the menu screen. And... huh? Are we actually getting like 100 FPS here? Let me just check the settings to make sure. I mean, we are literally running the exact same settings as we did on the iGPU, which was 720p low by the way. But really? Simply adding a GPU to the system increased our FPS by that much? No, there is just no way, you guys. Let me load up a save. Maybe it's just this menu screen. Wait, what? Are we actually getting like 100 FPS here? Yeah, I guess we are. I mean, at this point, I just wanna see if we can run the game at 1080p resolution. Let me just stand somewhere and stare at this screen so that we can have like apples to apples comparison between these two resolutions. So I would say that we're getting about 90 FPS right now. Let's see how much performance we lose by switching over to 1080p. Wait, hello? Are we like having the exact same FPS at 1080p resolution? I'm honestly at a loss of words, you guys. In what universe can a GT 710 improve the PC's performance by this much? I mean, I'm not complaining, but goddamn. Like, now I'm curious if we can run the game on high settings. You know what? I'm just gonna go with whatever the game is recommending here. It's gonna be like a mix between high and very high settings.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Wait, did it already do it? I mean, it must have, but man, I just cannot believe the difference that I'm seeing here. Let me actually make my way outside, cause this area isn't too demanding. Alright, there we go, 28 FPS. This actually makes more sense to me. Let's see if we can get 60 FPS by setting everything back to low. Yeah, I mean, it's not quite 60, but I honestly cannot complain. This is one of the most demanding areas after all, so there's nothing this PC should be ashamed of. The last game that we're gonna be testing today is Command & Conquer Generals. First, we're gonna test it on the exact same settings as we did on the iGPU, which was 720p low. And to no one's surprise, it is running without a problem. The mini frame drops that we were seeing on the iGPU also seem to be completely gone now. Not that they were that noticeable, but it's still something that is worth mentioning. And now, let's switch to 1080p, literally max everything out and see if we can get a stable 30 FPS here. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna increase the speed of the game to 40, which will display a bit higher FPS, but the actual limit is like 30, so do keep that in mind. Alright, so we are actually getting the maximum FPS here, which is 42 at this speed. But I do wonder if we're gonna be able to keep this up in heavy battles. And honestly, even if we don't, the fact that we're running the game on the highest possible settings at 1080p resolution is already impressive to me. Going into this video, I did expect that GT 710 would be a pretty reasonable upgrade, but never would I have ever thought that we'd be playing stuff like Half-Life 2 at 100 FPS or even CNC Generals on the highest possible settings. I've been reading the comments that you guys been writing on the previous video, by the way, and yes, I will be giving this PC some proper upgrade, which I'm not gonna spoil right now, but I honestly cannot wait for those parts to arrive. It's gonna take a few weeks or days depending on when this video goes up, but I cannot wait to give this PC the upgrade that it actually deserves, and maybe even test it in modern games. But do let me know in the comments below, were you expecting that a mere GT 710 would increase the performance by this much? Cause I sure as hell didn't. Like, in what world would I ever expect that simply putting a discrete GPU into a PC would increase its performance by 100 times? Talking about Half-Life 2 here. But yeah, I'm honestly having so much fun with this 18-year-old PC. The new stuff's also a lot of fun, but this is just on another level. On that note, let's wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.